Hi everyone, welcome back to the Integrity Botanicals YouTube channel. Coming at you guys today with a review and swatches of the LOLO pressed shadows. I've briefly reviewed two of their other palettes. The formulations are very similar, but these are all singles that you can purchase for 14 bucks. Really reasonable, and they are all vegan with the exclusion of the shade Peekaboo. So go crazy, all the vegans out there, all the non-vegans out there. We got some good eyeshadows in some really beautiful shades actually. So I'm just sort of gonna go light to dark and go from there because there are what, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12 beautiful shades. So I'm gonna waste no time and I'll speak a little bit about the formulation soon. Like I said though, they do remind me a lot of the palettes in that these shadows are pressed very hard. So the pigment on them is not like, oh my god, some are better than others I will mention, but the pigment's not so crazy. Oh my god, this is good for an everyday look, and the shades I think are conducive to that sort of look as well. But at the same time, you don't need to like dig your brush in there and go crazy. It's just sort of in the middle. So the first shade I have here is the shade Starry Eyed. I think a lot of you guys really like this shade because it's pressed. It's just like an iridescent white sort of shade. A lot more smooth than the metallics that are featured in the palettes from what I have tried. In fact, I'm wearing this on my cheekbones today, a little bit on the brow. Beautiful, just silvery white sort of shade. Would look great over the lid for that sort of Marilyn Monroe sort of vibe. It's a good one, highly recommend that. And a little bit more subdued option, one that I would probably reach for every day. That one's really great for a fair complexion, especially if you want to use it on your face like a subtle highlight. Like I said, it's what I have on right now. But the shade Ivory Tower is more of something I would use to base out the lid, use on the brow bone. It's just sort of this beautiful bone shade that has a little bit of a sheen. The color of it reminds me of Mary Luminizer. It's sort of that perfect vanilla shade. And this one has beautiful pigment and a really nice soft texture. The texture on a lot of these is really nice. I don't recommend putting your finger in it all that often though. I noticed that some of the shades can develop just a little bit of a hard pan, nothing crazy, and that's sort of when it creates a film over the shadow. But you could just scrape that off if that accidentally does happen. So that's Ivory Tower. Going a little bit more pink, this is the shade Peekaboo. This is the one option that is unfortunately not vegan. Peekaboo is very similar to the other two I just mentioned. It's just like the pink version. So this is very cool toned. If you like a really bright, wide-eyed look, this would be great all over the lid because it's that nice light pink. It is much less iridescent than the former two shades as well, but it does have a little bit of a radiance to it, so it's uplifting. It's beautiful. I think it's great for this time of year. Sort of like a one shadow sort of look would be great. Or you could go into the crease a little bit with this next shade, which is Stark Naked. We all know Stark Naked. This is actually featured, if I'm not mistaken, in the Laid Bare palette, and it's just a really good mid-tone sort of shade. It's really quite fair, has a little bit of pink to it, great texture and pigment on this one as well as far as the finger goes, but it is a light color, great for starting out the crease, something like that. The next couple of shades you could really build up some depth with this. Is almost like the next 5 shades I'm going to mention, including this one, are sort of like what I would love to be in the Laid Bare palette because it's the perfect level of gradation and finishes. But this one is a matte one. I mean, actually I would say more like a satin because it's not a flat, super stiff matte. It does have a little bit of radiance to it, but not really. You guys know what I mean. So it's a really beautiful pink shade. Then I have the shade Buttered Up, which is what I started out my crease look today. I'm wearing such a minimal eye look. I just was in a rush today, you guys. And but Buttered Up is just this beautiful sort of golden, very light brown. Again, you can really start out an eye look with this, or you could just take it right over the lid. This does have that sort of radiance to it, a little bit more than Peekaboo. It's sort of in the same vein as Ivory Tower. It's just gorgeous, seamless, beautiful finish. Again, it's not too deep of a shade, but it'll really pick up the light on the eye. Or if you have a deep complexion, tan to deep complexion, this would look great on you over the lid. It would pop a lot more. It's just gorgeous. Probably my favorite shade from the lineup today. Then I have the shade Take the Biscuit, which is what I deepened up my crease look today. This is sort of one that all of you guys will like. It's a mid-tone sort of brownie shade. It is a little bit more gray, a little bit more taupe. It has that same satin finish, and it's not crazy dark color. It's just the perfect in-between sort of shade if you're my skin tone. Again, if you're deeper, base this out all over the lid. This is that sort of eyeshadow that's good if you put it all over the lid, take it a little bit underneath, put on mascara, you look like you have a little shadow to the lid, you look like you tried a little bit harder than you did. It's a really good one, probably my number 2, because I love a good brown. How could you not? Then I have the shade In for a Penny, which is definitely a much more metallic finish. Very much a true coppery sort of penny color. Has a great amount of warmth to it, and probably the best pigmentation of any of the shadows here. It's so creamy, it's so smooth. It is just the dreamiest shade. Another one that I really like. Sort of one that anyone of any complexion, of any age can get away with. It's not super metallic-y, but it does have a sheen to it. It's that mature glow, if you know what I'm talking about. It's not like young, chunky glitter. It's stunning. Highly recommend that one. Then we have a matte shade in the bunch. Like I said, this would sort of be my perfect follow-up for the Laid Bare palette because it's such a beautiful matte brown shade. I will say the mattes are definitely not the best pigmentation of the bunch. They almost look a little choppy when you start, but as you start to blend the color and build it up, that's what I will say about these shadows. They build up on themselves beautifully. So if you're not getting that initial impact, it will blend really beautifully and it will sort of build up on itself really beautifully as well. So you're not left with a patchy sort of gross eye look. Moving into a little bit more of cool tones to finish this off, I got 4 more left. This is the shade Rolling Stone, which I think is the coolest name ever. This is sort of a gray taupey shade. It really has this great purpley silver to it. It's so unique. It's so beautiful. Again, the pigment on this one is just divine. The deeper colors, of course, like usual, have a little bit better of pigmentation. By the way, in these shadows, you're getting an entire 2 grams worth of product. That is an absolute ton. I don't think I would ever go through them, but Rolling Stone is a beautiful shade. Moving into something a little bit more purple, this is the shade Truffle Shuffle, another really cute name. This one's much more purple, much deeper as well, but they would pair great together, Rolling Stone and Truffle Shuffle. Really wearable purple shade as well because it's more along the lines of a taupe. It's not like bright, hard to wear purple. It's gorgeous, very wearable, and great for green or brown eyes if you guys didn't know. As I always say, you guys know it, say it with me, purple is the colored neutral. Thank you so much. Moving on, the shade Silver Lining, another really beautiful shade, more along the lines of the chunky sort of shimmers. This one builds up on itself a little bit, but once you apply it, I like to use the finger for these, if you remember from my last Lily Lolo review. But it really is a beautiful, true, full-on silver, but it's not a bright silver. It's sort of like a mid-tone silver. This is how you know I'm addicted to makeup. I say things like mid-tone silver, okay? Anyways, that's exactly what it is. It's really quite wearable. This would be good for those of you who you don't like to wear a lot of eye makeup, but you want to do like a pop for an event or a night out, something like that. It's fun, yet wearable. Take a little bit of the medium brown shades with it to make it a little warm, or take some of those cool toned purpley gray shades, and you would have a stunning eye look. And a very unique shade, and one that I have pressed into the base of my lashes liners today, is the shade Double Denim. And this is a matte navy shade, which is absolutely fabulous. This out of the bunch is the most firm in the pan and has the weakest pigmentation, but you could definitely still make it work. Once you get it on the lashes, it blends out beautifully. And I love this because it is not like a black. It's not like anything like that. It's true navy blue, and it's stunning. I love wearing it in the way that I would wear a black shadow. It's just a little bit more wearable, a little bit more different, and like I said, it really has that blue pull to it, so it'll show up blue, which is kind of amazing. Alright you guys, that is it. That is all about the Lily Lolo pressed shadows, all 12 of them. Aren't they amazing? Don't forget they're all vegan and gluten-free, excluding the shade Peekaboo, that pink shade, but there are so many other beautiful shades in the line. Leave me a comment down below with what your favorite shade is, or if there's any other Lily Lolo products I need to try out. Anything you guys would like to see swatched. I will have some more Lily Lolo videos down below. Amazing brands, a newer launch to Integrity Botanicals if you have yet to try them out. And don't forget to stay tuned because we're nearing the end of the month, so that means what's new at Integrity Botanicals is coming soon. So keep up with us on social media to know when videos go live, when new products launch, everything like that. But thank you guys so much for watching. Check us out on Instagram as well, and I will catch you guys in the next video. Bye!